Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Re-Res with an old Just Bad Games video. Today, well, for this season, this one, we got Popeye the Sailor Man. Or in this case, Popeye. Honestly, don't have a lot of experience with Popeye games, so don't know what we're talking about here. So, how about we go check it out? Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Let me know if you play this game. Let's go. It's a spinach.
Popeye is a video game developed by Sabec Limited and released to the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 in 2021.
Popeye is a long-running comic and cartoon character owned by King Features Syndicate, who first appeared all the way back in 1929. Not quite as old as sliced bread, but hey, pretty close.
For those who are unaware, Popeye is a classic character known for his plump forearms, iconic voice, and his love for the super strength delivering vegetable, spinach. A leafy green packed with vitamin A, and f***ing black magic. Popeye's popularity grew in his decades of paper and film presence, creating a world chock full of memorable characters. There's Olive Oil, his noodly love interest, Bluto or Brutus, his husky enemy, Sweet Pea, the baby discarded in the mail that Popeye adopts, no questions asked. Oh, and Wimpy. Boy,
he loves
that guy sure does love hamburgers.
Hold on, what was the last thing you were saying?
Hamburgers?
Baby.
Never mind.
Popeye could be found time and time again in new comics, cartoons, and even a live-action movie with Robin Williams.
I'm Popeye, the sailor, and I am
Robin.
what I am, what I am, and I am what I am, and that's...
Saying it's a popular IP would be an understatement.
He's also famous for his candy cigarettes.
Really?
Candy sticks.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that taste like blackboard chalk.
Never had it.
Popeye the Sailor Man, a
gateway
gateway
to
to addiction. But more importantly,
I've
when
seen
it
those
comes to
candy
video
sticks.
games, Popeye is a pretty big deal. If it wasn't for Popeye, we may not have the Donkey Kong we know and love today.
Really?
As the story goes, a young Shigeru Miyamoto came up with the idea for a new Nintendo arcade game based on the characters of Popeye, and his designs were made into Donkey Kong.
Turns out they couldn't legally use the Popeye characters at the time, so instead of scrapping their game, they designed new original characters, and the rest is literally history.
Miyamoto's Popeye.
You know, honestly, I would really love to know, like, what would a Nintendo-like Popeye game would work nowadays? Like, I mean, we haven't seen much, well, other than this one, but something tells me there's a reason we never heard of this game. Just saying. But now I'm kind of curious to see what people would actually do with a Popeye game. You know? I mean, think about it. Nintendo got turned down for and made Donkey Kong. So, what about nowadays? I mean, I'm curious. Anyway.
Popeye game wasn't completely over, though.
Oh?
Popeye would hit arcades 1 year later and would end up looking really familiar.
So as you can see, Popeye
It's
has
not
an
that bad.
important legacy in gaming.
Well, that's still really only one game.
from
I
Nintendo.
don't really remember any other Popeye games around when I was growing up.
Oh, sure, us North Americanites wouldn't, but in Japan, they saw the release of multiple exclusive
Game
Popeye
Boy.
games. But the vast majority of these games came out decades
Party?
ago, leaving the beloved sailor's Vidya game presence to lay dormant.
Vidya game.
That is, until now.
Hey, it's Popeye! He's returned! And at the competitive launch price of a whopping $12.99.
What kind of developer
what?
would pay to use the Popeye license only to create a budget game out of nowhere?
Sabec Limited, who made, let's see here, around 20 games. In 2020 alone, a list of descriptors comes to mind, and prolifics
Wait,
very
Snake
low
and
on that
Ladders,
list.
Table
I'd
tennis,
say,
guitar?
but why don't I know who they are? What are some of their
Calculator,
notable
what?
releases?
Calculator for Nintendo Switch.
Oh boy,
Hi.
this is gonna be rough, isn't it?
Time to burst open a can of spinach and chomp our way to the land of the iconic Sailor Man in Popeye.
The game opens on the title screen.
Wow.
No developer logos, no intros.
And there's
Heck,
King
there
Syndicate.
isn't even any music.
King Features Syndicate. Shows they proved
Don't
to
know
this.
what the game's gonna look like yet, but right away we can see it's officially licensed.
Strange thing
Yep.
though, the developers Sabec Limited don't have their name anywhere in sight.
Might be
I
a
mean, there's
warning sign
first
of things to
holdings.
come.
Not sure that is.
Let's begin.
Okay, seems straightforward enough. Looks like we're dealing with a fully 3D traversal game in which Popeye has to go around and collect hearts where...
Hey! We're ready!
Wow, Popeye just got popped.
Whoop!
It looks like old Brutus doles out one-hit insta-kills if he gets too close.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a
Yeesh.
while, so I'd wager to guess that's probably gonna get more irritating as time goes on.
Anyway, back to
Okay, I mean, correct that King's, like, approved of this? Like, okay, I mean, if you're using Popeye, like, yikes. You'd think they would bring their A game. So far, I give it a B game. I don't know. I'm just saying, it doesn't look that great. Anyway.
To the game, level 1. Popeye collects hearts that are being tossed out by olive oil from the top of a building. Look, there she is.
The only
Man,
barrier to
distance.
snatching up all those
Eesh.
hearts seems to be Brutus. And well, you've seen what happens when he gets up in your face.
If you stand still long enough, Brutus
Right there.
will find you. He's always on the hunt. Better keep your distance because Mr. Sailorman only has 3 lives.
You've got a
Really?
basic punch attack here, but it doesn't work against the only person
Popeye.
you want to use it on. That's right. In the first stage,
Man,
there
he's
is
smart.
nothing to punch. That is, unless you pick up a can of spinach.
The iconic food stuff that famously gives Popeye the extra pep to take on anything does exactly what you'd expect against Brutus.
Turns red, but see ya.
No matter who gets hit, Popeye or Brutus, you get this. A sound so ear-crunchingly shrill that it'll dislodge your speakers and scare your pets.
But
Bye.
uppercutting enemies like an unenthusiastic ball-headed
He's like
superhero
right there. Bye.
isn't the core challenge of this game. Like we said before, the objective is collecting
Correct, the
hearts. And man, they take forever to fall.
I'd go so far as to say half the time playing this game, you're waiting for hearts to appear
catch them in the air,
somewhere so
or
you
you
can
have to wait
scoop
for
them
them to
up.
land?
And when you do happen to collect enough,
Can
you'll
Popeye
find
jump in
yourself
this game?
on the second stage, the ship.
Now, I may not know a lot about the Popeye mythos, but I'm pretty sure the character's timeline takes place sometime around the era of steam or diesel-powered vessels. I don't think they were hanging around freaking galleons.
Well, whatever the reason,
Yeah, not even
Popeye is
close.
here. And here sucks.
Letters?
We've got very little space to move while trying to dodge Brutus. And to add to the difficulty, now you've also got to deal with a vulture
Bird?
constantly flying above, around, and diving down to
Oh.
one-hit KO you.
Yup, second level in, and getting near instantly hurled away into the ocean is about as fun as you'd imagine.
Instead of hearts, Olive Oil is now throwing down letters.
Popeye, catch!
Popeye needs to collect these in
Voice
order to
acting
complete
is-
sentences that appear at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, Popeye, I love you. Ah, shucks, isn't that sweet? Another says every girl loves a sailor. A little hyperbolic, yeah, but I could see Olive Oil saying these things.
All right, sure,
What
I
else you
agree.
got?
But how about this? Face it, Tiger,
Tiger,
you hit the jackpot.
Wait, is that a Spider-Man reference?
Yep.
Huh, never
Yep,
saw
they
that
did.
crossover coming.
Go with that later.
Hey, it's Spider-Man. Oh, great.
Oh, hey, look, we got one more. What's
What does
it
that one
say?
say?
It is okay to be
Yeah.
a glow
Glow
stick.
stick?
Finally!
What?
Once you clear the
It's okay to be a glow stick? Huh? Hey, I got nothing. I literally got nothing. It's just, who says that? It's like it's okay to be a glow stick. What? Just, anyone know what that's from? Because frankly, I got nothing. Hey.
ship level, you'll find yourself on a
wait,
stage
back
that looks
again?
similar to the first, but more densely packed with buildings. Here, you're back to collecting hearts.
The major difference now is a character called the Witch is throwing skulls at you from atop a mountain. You can sort of see her way off in the distance there. Ah, okay.
Hi?
See it now.
So now you've got Brutus and these hurled skulls to deal with. All of these, by the way, one-hit deaths for Popeye on contact.
Get through that gauntlet, and the
Yeesh,
next section's
can we pause
basically the
again?
first level repeated. Only now, it's nighttime.
If you guess that the game is the
Good
same
boy.
3 levels repeated with slight variations, you are correct. It might be nighttime
That's
in one
boring.
or raining in another, but the visuals largely stay the same.
All right, folks, we've been waiting to address something for a while now, and I think it's about
Well, this
time
is
we let
lame.
the cat out of the bag. All of this entire experience, is a poorly made recreation of Nintendo's original Popeye arcade game.
The similarities with Nintendo's arcade game are impossible to avoid.
Olive Oil sits up high and throws hearts for Popeye to collect.
There is a repeating 3-stage structure.
Popeye collects letters in the boat level.
Brutus chases you and throws bottles at you.
You can punch bottles out of the air. Skulls too.
The vulture is a thing.
Cans of spinach are the single power-up that allows Popeye to attack Brutus.
Popeye turns red when he eats spinach.
A witchy character throws skulls into the playfield.
So yes, they were totally trying to rip off a Nintendo classic. But what does Nintendo think of this? Are they even aware?
Bigger question. If this
Maybe?
thing is largely working off an existing classic
I wouldn't be
arcade title,
surprised if
how
they,
is
like,
it so
put
wrong?
that on the
I mean,
emulator.
the list of problems here is a mile high.
For one, the arcade original featured single screen levels. When Olive would throw down her loving heart, you'd see their whole journey.
Here, that's not happening. There are buildings and objects that block your view just about everywhere. You'll eventually learn that hearts fall in the same locations all the time, but you'll never know what location has an active heart. Super frustrating.
They easily could have fixed this with an on-screen map or something that identified where all the hearts are, but hey, what
not.
do we know?
Second, the rules have changed. Enemies like the vulture, who could be punched without the use of the spinach power-up before, now require the spinach to take out.
Really?
Also, little details are wrong or
Hi.
outright missing. The witch that they refer to on the intro screens before a level begins, that's not her canonical name. That's the Sea Hag, an existing character and villain from the original Popeye series.
More importantly,
I
where's
missed those
Wimpy?
episodes.
Where's Sweet Pea? Where's the entire building level with musical notes to collect from the original arcade game?
Whoever was in charge of
You didn't have the
accuracy in
rights
this
one?
remake didn't give a...
The original Popeye was a tough game, but
definitely
if you
lame.
played it well, you'd get extra lives. That's not happening here. There are no continues, no extra lives, and no save states. If you die, you gotta go all the way back to the start of the game.
And oh boy, will you be dying? You'll be restarting aplenty because this game is busted, broken, and glitched beyond belief. But not just that, it's also pretty darn lazy too.
Check out these visuals. What is up with the graphics?
Nice.
Popeye, Brutus, Olive Oil, and all the other motionless characters in the game world don't match their surroundings. They look like they're pulled from some completely
Okay, so you
different
can't jump.
game.
These levels are made with low poly assets that have virtually no texture work. Look at the contrast between these models. It's like Popeye's world is running on a Sega Saturn.
Well, it turns out there's a reason for this. All the level designs and components are from a pre-designed asset pack.
You're
So they
kidding.
acid
No, sir.
flipped?
I am not. These are all
Wow.
pre-made and sold in a bundle. Specifically, this one, the Polygon Pirate Pack from Cinti Studios. Oh boy, look, it's on sale in the Unity Asset Store.
That explains why the ship
Wow.
level looks so out of place. They quickly dropped in ships from the pirate pack instead of, you know, something Popeye might have actually been on at one point. They thinks I'm older than I am. Okay.
And they're treating us that's way stupids. Eesh. I'm trying to do Popeye, but still. Really? You acid flipping? Come on, dude. Really? Sometimes you gotta ask like King Syndicate and like, dude, how'd you let your IP be attached to this? Yeah. Like you think they double check it, but apparently not. They just let it go to the shop. Hey, sometimes you just wonder how things just get past the quality checks.
But once they bought their low poly assets and dropped them in game, why didn't they design a Popeye character model to match that art style?
Well, about that Popeye model, that might have also been pre-made and grabbed from a completely different website.
I am disgustipated. It's such a mess. You'll find a character on a boat fishing, but the fishing pole doesn't have a fishing line. The pole is sticking through his hand, his foot is sticking through the boat is not moving, and the flow of water and this fisherman
sir?
is completely static.
And over here, why exactly is this ship just half built? It's missing its sail. This was a pre-made completed asset. How does something like this even happen?
Well, I guess we can't really
don't know
critique
anymore.
these models' visuals for clashing or even how their designs look, because none of them were ever designed to be combined in the first place.
But what we can criticize? The gameplay. And you bet your corncob pipe we've got more than a few things to say.
The controls are clearly inspired by the arcade original, so all you can really do is walk around and punch.
But the problem is that this isn't a simple arcade game. This is a full-blown 3D world with obstacles and barriers. The game world is designed in a way that just
Seriously?
screams for a jump button.
It would have been really useful for times when, oh, I don't know, we fell
Got
into
stuck?
holes we couldn't get
Help!
out of. Shiver me timbers. Help, Olive. I'm just stuck. Wait, ain't I supposed to be saving hers?
That's a pretty big oversight, but there's another lingering
Seriously?
problem
No
that is
jump?
omnipresent. One song.
You're
There's
recycling
only
everything
one
now?
regular level track in this whole game. It plays in a loop, and that loop is broken.
Hear that?
Wow. Just cut it right
Stuff
back
your
to the
ears with
song.
spinach, pal. This sloppy work plays just about everywhere.
Oh, sure, you can mute the audio, but you're still playing Popeye. And the longer you play, the worse it gets.
The further in the game you go, the more enemies will populate any individual level. You'll repeatedly be dodging Brutus's fists, the witch's skulls, and the vulture all at the same time. And to ramp up the difficulty even more, they begin to move faster and faster.
Think you can hide or cleverly avoid them? Nah,
Nope.
you can't. They'll appear anywhere and everywhere
like there.
because they
How
teleport
do you
whenever
know?
they're not in your line of sight.
You'll see Brutus standing in the distance, seemingly dazed and confused.
But turn the camera slightly, and
Sea cucumbers! I nearly me pantaloons! The only time they don't do this is when you punch enemies into the ocean. This buys you a quick moment while they fly or swim back for more, and when they make it back to shore, they trigger a cutscene.
funny thing, if one character's actively chasing you and the other triggers that stupid cutscene, the one chasing you may not pause.
That means when you return from the
Oh, that's
cutscene,
not
this
good.
happens.
There, you stop.
If you want to fully
Son of a
avoid
bitch.
enemies, you can go for a dip. The stages that take place on islands feature an ocean that Popeye can swim into.
You'll find shipwrecks that have busted physical boundaries that make Popeye float in the air like he's levitating through the sheer force of a stream of broken wind. It's the spinaches.
Woo! Smell it.
Gives me wings. The sea is kind of a gameplay dead zone. There's no timer, so you can basically stay out as long as you want. But this does come at a cost.
Yeah, when you hit the water, the entire level seems to load in all at once. The hardware of the Switch, it doesn't like this.
We're talking low frame rates, real low. Like the
Damn,
worst
that
frame rate
looks
we've
bad.
seen on Switch software low.
Despite enemies not instantly teleporting near you while floating in the big blue, Brutus will follow you into the water. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't seem to be able to swim
okay
all
there,
that
Brutus?
well.
Brutus, is you okay?
We're crying, Popeye. Get me out of here.
The best part is when Brutus can be clearly seen underwater standing up. Not quite tall enough to punch Popeye, but tall enough to warp physics so that Popeye can awkwardly float above his head.
The game doesn't
Hey,
like
look.
if you do this for too long.
Oh, God. Okay. Popeye, you okay? Jeez.
Maybe the ocean isn't so safe. Back on dry
think?
land, however, the world is riddled with idle characters standing by doing
Nothing.
nothing.
You would think you could simply ignore these frozen characters and get on with the game, but some of these folks create mysterious invisible walls that prevent Popeye from moving forward.
Invisible walls crop up all over the place at the worst moments.
Oh, son of
About
a...
the only section that invisible walls don't exist is the ship level. But it doesn't matter
Really?
because this level is so small that it boxes you in anyway. When the enemies move faster later in the game, it's near impossible to avoid them. They'll corner you, giving you no chance to evade. Would have been nice to be able to punch the vulture without the spinach power-up.
Oh,
Yeah,
and we can't
agreed.
forget that the witch shows up at random points in very specific areas to toss bottles at you, because that happened in the arcade game. So of course, it's gotta
so they
happen
put that
here as
here.
well. This remake cherry picks the worst aspects of the arcade game and completely avoids the good.
While also adding even more problems. Instant teleportations on
there
the
you go.
ship, for example.
Here, Brutus miraculously appears right in front of you. Looking at nothing? Bam!
Oh, there he is.
Brutus.
Sometimes we're surprised by how determined Brutus can be. Other times his AI switches from demonic teleportation hunter to acorn brain in an instant.
He's like,
Here you can see him
Brutus,
stop
are you
following
okay?
you
Over here.
mid-chase to have a look around.
And sometimes he never starts chasing again. Multiple times we had Brutus lock up. You can stand inches from his face and he still doesn't quite see ya.
I knows we've had our differentials in the past, but I'm legitimately worries about your conditions.
Heck, sometimes Brutus's spawn glitches out to the point that he's no longer present in the playable game space at all. The vulture enemy, too.
That's right. 2 levels in a row, neither character bothered to show up and hassle us in the slightest. Honestly, it was kind of nice.
Oh, wait, nope, found them. Look, way
the-
out into the ocean there. I think they're stuck.
what the hell did they get over there?
No clue what's happening here. I love it.
Unfortunately,
Fair.
the two did end up respawning properly again.
But don't worry. Looks like any time Popeye eats his can of greens, Brutus will without a doubt lock up, giving you ample time to strut on over and give him a love tap.
One time, right after a can-eating event, Popeye's punch attack animation locked up.
It stopped Popeye's walk cycle for the rest of the level.
Kinda looks like he's on a skateboard.
Yeah, you're right.
Popeye locked. Pro skater.
So here I am, locked into a funny stance,
Hey.
eating all the spinach cans, pretending I'm the Sailor Man.
Hey, what the?
What the heck was that? Did Popeye die instantly for no reason at all?
Yeah, from a
Oh,
tree.
yeah, that happens a lot. And not just with this skateboarding glitch. Popeye randomly dies over and over again. And remember, there's no way to gain more lives.
Son of a bitch.
Hey kids, want a fun craft you can do at home?
What?
You too can orchestrate your own Popeye Insta-Death. Simply hit the home button on the Switch without pausing this horrible game. And then, wait a moment. And then jump back in.
What?
Great
Wow.
job.
Beating this game seems like an impossibility. The enemies are always onto you, zipping around
there even an
locations.
end to this
And if
game?
that isn't a problem, Popeye dies for no reason anyway. If you do manage to avoid cheap deaths, the enemy speed that stacks as you cycle through the game's 3 levels ensures that they'll inevitably put an end to your run.
Between all that and the glitches and the bugs, you have next to no chance to roll credits on this game. The sound of Popeye being pummeled will become rhythmic, reverberating through your skull as you try to close your eyes and sleep through the empty feeling this horrid remake birthed in your soul.
This game leaves us with so many questions. How did this company get their hands on the Popeye license? What did it cost? Why did they even bother?
Surprise, surprise! Taking a famous intellectual property and slapping together a game quicker than a burger at McDonald's doesn't always end in a quality product.
Popeye is an incredibly shoddy experience, an unfun, woefully unfinished title coded in quick grab assets to cash in on all the modern kids who like Popeye. Wait, is that an actual audience?
Even Eyes barely remembers Eyes.
Okay,
Pretty
while
much.
he may not be in the limelight much nowadays, he's certainly still a figure worthy of a proper return to the world of video games. But this...
Until then,
It's
it's just
just
a bad game. Yeah, even I actually do want to try a Popeye game, at least a legitimate one. But that ain't no legitimate Popeye game. Like, nuh-uh. There's no way. I just want to find King Syndicate with that. Just like, how do they approve of this? Like, seriously. Did you just say remake? Be like, okay, here you go. Like, that's it? Like, are you that desperate for a game? Like, anyway, let me know what you guys think of that Popeye game. Honestly, throw it overboard. Till next time I try for more. Adios.